Okay, today's post comes from Young Dude. Am I the jerk for refusing my wife's gift? My wife lent my father-in-law my cordless drill without my permission. I had a general sense that he had it, and since he has a woodworking hobby, and I simply use it for basic home repairs, I was happy to let him keep it. He also lives a few blocks away, so it's not a huge burden for me to go get it if need be. Well, the time came where I needed to use it, so I asked my wife if she could go get it back from her father, whom she sees every day. She immediately started asking me what I needed it for, when did I need it, etc. To be honest, I may have been a little short with her because I felt like I didn't really need to justify why or how I wanted to use my drill. She went on to ask me if I could just get a new drill by implying that I may be having financial trouble if I can't just get a new one. I reiterated that I don't need a new one. I have a drill and we know where it is, with her father. She called her father-in-law to ask about the drill, and as it turned out, the drill was not at his home, but at a cabin about 90 minutes away. He visits weekly, so again, this was not a big deal for me. I could wait a week and eventually get my drill back. Well, fast forward to the following week, and father-in-law didn't bring the drill back from the cabin. My wife told me father-in-law forgot it, but since we're all going back anyways, we could pick it up when we were there. Lo and behold, we get there and father-in-law cannot find the drill. So now it's been over 2 weeks since I first asked for my drill, and will stretch on indefinitely. My wife offered to give me money to buy a new one. I showed her the price, about $200 US, and she said that it would be my Christmas present. This is where I may have been the jerk. I told her that it's my stuff that's gone missing, and if she feels like replacing it as a gift as opposed to making amends for lending out my things to someone who lost it, then she can keep her money. We haven't talked since, but she put an envelope of cash on my desk and left a note that said she didn't want to stress out father-in-law, and that she is sorry that you need to purchase a new drill because you need to use one urgently. I have read the note, but the money is still in the envelope where it may stay. So, am I the jerk? Okay, well, first and foremost, as you know, this is not about a drill. This has nothing to do with the drill. If it did, you could just go get another drill. You have money for another one, as you said. This is a very minor inconvenience if it were about the drill. But it's not. The emotional response makes no sense if it were just about the lack of a drill, because that would be very easy to remedy. The emotions are because the drill represents something. How you treat someone's things is an extension of how you feel about the person who owns it. For example, let's say that you inherited Grandma's special plates, okay? Well, a plate is a plate. You can eat off of a Frisbee if you want to, but the fact that you inherited Grandma's special plates and they belong to Grandma and we all kind of liked Grandma means that you're going to treat those things with some danged respect, aren't you? How about, let's say you have a daughter and your daughter has, a favorite doll. Well, you're not going to pick up that doll and throw that doll against the wall if you're a father worth your salt. You're going to care for that doll. You're going to treat it, with some sort of respect, especially in front of her. Not because you care anything for the plastic the doll is made of, but because it belongs to your daughter and you're going to care for it. I inherited a music box from somebody in my family when she passed away. I don't really care all that much for music boxes. But because I did care for the person in my family that passed away, I take care of that music box. I don't let anything happen to it. I keep it in a safe place. so that nothing happens to it because it was important to her. Things in themselves are meaningless, but the value to you is high. They're important to the person who owns them. Therefore, if you care at all for the person who owns these things, you're going to care for the things they care about. Your wife doesn't seem to care all that much about your things. But she just lent it out without your permission. But then her response when you asked for it seems to indicate that she's keeping a secret here. If she wasn't keeping a secret, she'd just go get it. But her response when you asked her for it, and she said, well, why do you need it? And tried to dissuade you from it and act like you're just being crazy for wanting it, that would indicate to me that there is some sort of a secret being kept here. But then your father-in-law, as you found out, left it 90 minutes away. And then he couldn't find it for some reason. Something happened here, and she doesn't want to tell you what. I don't know what it is. It seems like your father-in-law knows what it is. Whether he did it or whether she did it and he's covering for her, I don't know. But something happened here that she doesn't want to tell you. In any case, she not only violated your trust, but then she tried to lock you out of this situation altogether, to cut you off from your rights to your things. She acted like you had no right to even expect her to keep her word and come back with this. Okay, then she has this idea that she's not going to make amends, she's not going to make it right. It's just going to be your Christmas present. Okay, see, a Christmas gift shows that you know the people that you care about. A Christmas gift is when you know the person well enough that you know what they like, and you get something because you want to show them you care. You want to give them something that shows that you know them. Okay, but what she's doing here is something entirely different from that, because she's using a Christmas gift to further step away from the guilt. She's trying to do this by transforming her responsibility into a gift. This way she doesn't have to take responsibility. Well, this is a gift. Responsibility and respect, and just making the thing right and fessing up. She's trying to cover the blame by making it into a gift. And that's what the issue is here. She doesn't care enough or respect you enough to just take responsibility for what she's done. So we're going to turn to Moses for our verse today. Exodus 22:14 says, "If anyone borrows an animal from their neighbor, and it is injured or dies while the owner is not present, they must make restitution." Of course, we're not talking about animals that she's borrowed. We're talking about an item that you own that she's borrowed. Even without your consent, it still applies. She's got to make restitution for this thing. And she can't write it off as a Christmas gift. She has to make restitution. But another Bible writer goes on to expound on this. In Psalm 37:21, the Bible says, "The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously." Look, she's going to make it right. She's got to fess up to this. She's got to take responsibility. And she's got to make this right. That's the only way. And that'll do it for today. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. God bless.